First of all, Bobby, roll tide. It's good to see you. How's the summer gone for you?
Oh man, roll tide in the summer is going great, man. I just can't wait to. We got a few days to wait, but the film is going to be released on July the 31st, which is this coming Thursday. I'm pretty excited about it, man. My daughter and my son was involved in it, and they let pops be a part of it. So me and a lot of other former players, I thought I was going to get the boot after they showed me the list of people they wanted to interview.
Yeah, of course, so many great names throughout Alabama football history. And I'm sure you've been involved before in some projects like this, trying to chronicle Alabama football, its glorious past, its great present. But what made this opportunity stand out for you and the team that put the film together?
First of all, the one thing that made me stand out was because it kind of got an entire overview of the entire program from the start of when Coach Bryant was here all the way up until Coach Saban. So it kind of like got two different eras and at two different times with two of the winningest coaches, along with a national championship in the middle there by Gene Stallings. But it had an opportunity to get some of the guys of old who I idolize and who I remember playing, and then some of the guys who knew under the Sarah Saban era, like my own son, Marlon Humphrey, and the national championship runs that Coach Saban went on to win a total of six. And I think the camaraderie of just being around all the guys and being able to just have a big family reunion, so to speak, in terms of guys, being involved and being a part of putting this film together. That's the thing that kind of drove home for me.
And for you as well, getting to grow up in Alabama as Coach Bryant was making a name for himself, winning those six national championships. Just what are your earliest Alabama football memories, and specifically memories of Coach Bryant? How large of a figure was he?
Oh, well, there were a lot of things I thought I knew, but I didn't know. I can remember him being on the sideline, and when I saw Coach in the upper deck at Legion Field when Alabama would play their ball games there at Legion Field. But I never knew all of the things that he had done and behind the scene and the impact he had made on so many people's lives, including his own players, especially during the time of the civil rights movements when he actually was right there hard in the middle of it when he was trying to integrate the team and bring in black ball players and the things that he had to go about doing. And all of this is in the movie, all of the things that he had to do in order to kind of make it a reality. It was just a thought about thing for him. He had tried to do it other places, but when he got to Alabama, it was like, somebody, he did his handiwork. He sat down and he kind of mapped it out how he was going to do it. And then it came to fruition with the first black player to ever come to Alabama and sign a scholarship and play in a football game. So that part of it, of history, was one of the things that I think I hung my hat on once I got into watching the movie at the premiere. And it's something to make you feel very proud of where we've been and where we've come and where we are now.
Great parallels between Coach Bryant, Coach Saban. You were part of the group that was playing kind of in between those two eras of Alabama football, between Coach Bryant and Coach Saban. Just how remarkable is it that Alabama, of course, a lot of schools have one legend like Coach Bryant, and that's kind of it for the rest of their history. What does it say about Alabama that so many other coaches have been able to come to Alabama and win? And then obviously we saw Coach Saban do equal to Coach Bryant in terms of the six national championships.
When you think about it, you don't really think that somebody could actually outdo what Coach Bryant did. When I was coming along and I played at Alabama, winning one was kind of, the norm. We just wanted to win one in the time I was there. But I never fathomed a coach could win six or more. First of all, I couldn't fathom a coach winning six. And then now Coach Saban has come along, he's won seven. Will we get the chance to see anybody win eight? I mean, and just think if that coach just so happened to be Caleb DeBoer. Who knows? I mean, we got the best two coaches in college football history at the same university, at the University of Alabama. But can that happen? Now, I wasn't a part of it. I was kind of in the middle, and we had some dark times. And the film did click that too. Perkins came in right behind Brian. I played up under Perkins, and I split time with he and Coach Bill Curry. And then the program kind of sunk a little bit, and then Stallings came in, picked us back up. Then after he left, the program kind of sunk a little bit. And really during that time, we had a hard time with trying to replace a coach and to get a coach. You had Franchione that came in and used Alabama as a stepping stone to get to his dream job, Texas A&M. Go figure that. Then you had Rich Rodriguez, who I think, and don't put this on record, but I want to say, did he turn the job down?
Basically his for about a 24-hour period, but never put pen to paper. Yeah, kind of went back on it after he saw time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, come on, this is like the premier job in the country to be able to coach at the University of Alabama. But that just goes to show you how far the program had kind of sunk a little bit in terms of replacement. And then Coach Saban comes along and brings us back to where we belong, on a national stage with multiple national championships. Pretty good. Let's think of how many times he played for it. Although I wasn't fortunate to win one, but for crying out loud, my son was there and I was there in Arizona and down there on the field with him when they won that national championship. It was just like I had won it, and as a player, but I had a chance to experience that, and to be able to have those two coaches coach at the same place, and you got number one and number two as the greatest coaches of all time. Now, everybody can determine who could be their number one and who could be their number two. A lot of people say because Saban did 7, then he's the greatest coach of all time. Coach Saban, even in the documentary, says that, hey, he thinks the greatest of all time is the Bear. So, now he didn't go in the detail of explaining why, but if you think about this right here, think about the things Coach Bryant was saying and preaching, and then the things Coach Saban, it's almost like, and I'll go out on a limb and say, no, they have never met. They never talked. I don't think they have, but to my knowledge, but they almost was like they were identical. Coach Bryant talked about the little things. Coach Saban talked about being where your feet are. Coach Bryant talked about taking, one day at a time, getting a little bit better every day, Coach Saban talked about the process, which basically means there's a process you got to take by doing everything right every day. And they had this persona about themselves that they were determined and they were going to be physical. I can remember Coach Saban saying at his press conference, when he first got hired at the University of Alabama, he said, I want people to remember us and I want them to say, we hate playing them guys. And I'm telling you, he built that standard there that people hate playing against Alabama because they were going to be out physical and they were going to have the mental toughness. Exact same thing that Coach Bryant.
That's so good. And of course, we mentioned your connection with your son, Marlon, getting recruited by Coach Saban, playing for the University of Alabama. Just first of all, tell me about how good of a recruiter was Coach Saban? Because obviously Marlon was a legacy player, grew up in Hoover, right close to the University of Alabama, but you got to see Coach Saban as the recruiter. What was that like?
Man, it was great. It was, when Coach Saban came to my house, he closed the deal. He basically closed the deal. Marlon was considering a couple other places, one being Florida State, who was very, very high on his list. But when Coach Saban came to the house, deal was done. It's like he's the perfect closer. So I can't imagine he don't lose very many, not when he show up. So I can remember him coming to the house and two things he did. One, he did some DB drills in my living room in his suit and shuffling he was teaching Marlon how to shuffle his feet and, stand in front of the DB. In front of the wide receivers. That was impressive. The other impressive thing he said was, I might be the head coach, Bobby, but, I coach the DBs. I think of myself as one of the greatest DB coaches in the country. So why wouldn't I coach the DBs if I'm the best DB coach? And I'm thinking, you coach the DBs? And I'm thinking to myself, son, if you don't go down there, I'm going to hog tie you and take you down there. I mean, this guy is, he has the recipe for getting guys to get to the next level. And he going to put his hand on you. I know it's kind of tough, you know, playing for him and being coached by him, but he can't be telling you but all the right things. So that's what that recruiting process is like. He is a closer.
That's certainly good. And obviously, it led to Marlon being a national champion in Alabama, first round draft pick for the Baltimore Ravens. What can you tell us about his summer and getting ready for another year in the National Football League?
Marlon is a business person on and off the field, even in his off season. He's very diligent in working out. He's very diligent in making sure he take care of his body. Um, he do the proper things. He and Derrick Henry probably do go above and beyond the call of taking care of doing the things to take care of their body. He came home a little bit for this summer. He didn't spend as much time here as he spent in the past. I think he did a lot of stuff up in Baltimore this past year, more than he's normally done in the past. But he should be there. I think they're going into their fourth or fifth day of training camp, and he was excited, ready to go, in shape, made all the testing that they had to do, and he has started the Breakfast Club, which is a 6 a.m. workout in the morning. There with the Baltimore Ravens, and they called it the Breakfast Club, and you got to be there at 5:59. If you're there at 6 o'clock, you can't come in. So they lock the doors. You can't be late. So they've started that. So he is primed and ready. Only thing missing is that 9 years. He's going into his ninth season, and they have not made it to the Super Bowl. So I'm hoping that this year is the year. You know, you think about high school, he played in 3 state championships when he was in high school, won 2 of the 3. And then he played in 2 national championships at Alabama, and he was 1-1. And he's yet to get to the Super Bowl. So hopefully this will be the year where it all comes together. They've had a good offseason. Eric DeCosta has done a good job of putting together a really, really good team. The secondary probably is about as strong as it's ever been. So they even shuffling some people around. I think Marlon going to play a lot in the slot this year based on what I've been reading, because they got 2 solid corners. Nate Wiggins, who was a first-round draft pick from Clemson last year, had a very, very good rookie campaign. And Alexander, who played at Louisville, who played at Green Bay, as well as the other cornerback that they signed, both have been outstanding players throughout their NFL career. And you got Kyle Hamilton, and you got the first-round draft pick, Malachi Starch from Georgia. So secondary is loaded. They got some great pass rushers in there. They signed D-Hop as a wide receiver. You got King Henry still back in the backfield. He just signed an extension. All the players in place, and now we just have to have some good fortune and avoid some injuries, and hopefully we'll be playing in that last game of the NFL season, and that's hopefully the Super Bowl.
We're certainly rooting for that for Marlon and the Ravens. Bobby, as we round out the conversation, again, the film's coming out on Thursday, July 31st, Nothing But a Winner, taking a look at the great history of Alabama football. What do you feel like fans are going to enjoy most when they settle into the movie theater and get to watch this for the first time?
The fans are going to enjoy an inspirational, motivational movie that's going to inspire them because of all of the things that the team went through, the adversity, the challenges, but more importantly, the ups. You know, they got the part in there where Coach Saban and Jalen Hurts, you know, where he was basically benched in that Georgia game, and then the next year he came off the bench and won the Georgia game. So they won both games. One, he got benched because the offense wasn't productive. I'm quite sure that wasn't a good feeling. He expressed that. But in the same game a year later, he comes in because of Tua gets hurt, because of Tua gets an injury, and he wins the game. things like that. Things about Coach Bryant, how his players respect him and honor him, and especially during the civil rights movement when they were when they were integrating the team, and how Coach Bryant promised that he would take care of them and be there for them. How those players expressed that, and all the things that Coach Bryant did for them. So you're gonna cry a little bit, you're gonna laugh a little bit, but you're gonna be very emotional, and you're gonna be excited, and you're gonna be inspired when you walk out the theater. So if you go to nothingbutatawinner.com, and then you can pull up where you can purchase tickets. You pop in your zip code, and it'll put you right at the theater you need to be there in your community, in your area, throughout the entire country. So we're excited about it. I know you're going to love it. Marlon and my daughter and the Castills and all of the executive producers and all the people that was involved, even the all of the players and coaches that did interviews. It is going to be exciting, and I would encourage you to take a look at it.
We're thrilled for it. Well, congratulations to you, your family, obviously the Castiles as well for their involvement. So we're really looking forward to this picture coming out for Alabama fans, and maybe some fans from some other schools to take a look at the great history of Alabama football. But Bobby, just thank you for the time you've given us. We look forward to catching up with you again here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. All the best. Roll Tide, sir.
Thanks so much.